Hey there, this is Vicki Arsenault, and you're listening to another episode of Facing Your Fears. Hey there, so this weekend I was thinking about fear and thinking I want to kind of describe this to you in just a little bit of a different way. The name of the podcast is Facing Your Fears, right? I don't want you to confuse it with the fact that I want you to avoid fears. I don't want you to avoid fear. I want you to add your faith to the fear so that you can keep running forward and not be held back in a place where you feel super stuck, and in your heart and your heart of hearts you are dreaming of just moving forward in some way, but that fear is just keeping you stuck right there with your feet planted. So what we're going to talk about today is how to embrace that fear and actually make it work for you. So the definition of fear is an unpleasant emotion caused by the belief that someone or something is dangerous, likely to cause pain, or a threat. Now, of course, we are all born with fear as one of the natural emotions that we come with, right? We're supposed to have some degree of fear because that's what keeps us alive. But a lot of times the fears that we are stuck in are not ones that are actually threats to our lives. They're just really threats to our sense of self. They're more focused on us and how other people are going to perceive us than they are actually preserving our actual life. You know what I'm saying? So these are the fears that we are trying to add faith to so that we can keep going forward. It's not that we want to deny that fear exists. It's just that we want to deny its right to rule over our lives. So I'm just going to say that again because I want you to really think about this, how we don't deny that fear exists, right? Fear is real. It's an emotion that we all feel. So we don't deny that it exists, but we are denying its right to rule over our lives. So what we're training ourselves to do is to faith that fear and say, yes, I see that you exist. And instead of running from you or the opportunity that is in front of me, I'm going to go for the opportunity, and fear is just going to be silenced. You might even do all of these things afraid. So imagine that you're at your job and you have an opportunity to go share something with the CEO or the owner of the company. You may feel really, really nervous. I used to be really nervous in high school when I had to do an oral presentation. I never liked talking in front of a crowd of people. It was so scary for me, I couldn't even think straight. I would try to get that done as fast as possible. And even still, I try to get what I have to say out as quickly as possible. Not because I'm afraid of what people are going to think. I just don't want to lose their attention. So I say things as quickly as I can in the best way possible to get my point across, and then they can ask questions after if they want to. It's just kind of one of those things that stemmed from being so afraid to stand in front of my peers in school and share, a report or whatever thing I had to do. That was totally terrifying. But as time has gone on, that doesn't scare me anymore. And even when I do get to the point where maybe there's an opportunity that, maybe there are more people that I'm used to, or I have to sing a solo and I'm worried that I might sing off key, or my voice will crack, or some crazy thing will happen. Well, instead of saying, well, no, I'm never going to do that, I feel the emotions. Like I feel the shakes. I feel the nerves. I feel the things, right? And I take a giant breath and I'm just like, God, this is not about me. This is about you. I am doing what you asked me to do. And I pray you just give me the confidence to do this. Thank you. And then I just go for it. And it's sort of like a switch happens in my head that I go from fear mode to like performance mode. All of a sudden I know, like, it just switches. I just know that I'm going to go out there, I'm going to say what I know, I'm going to do my thing, and however it comes out, it comes out. I mean, I can't really take it back once it's done, right? So you go out there and you just go for it. And what I find is really that it's not the fear of failing, but it's not wanting to experience feeling like a failure. And that's the thing that will often hold people back from going and doing a lot of different things. So the key points today are that I don't want you to deny that fear exists. I want you to face your fear so that you can deny its right to rule in your life. Okay? And then recognize that your fear of failing isn't necessarily the fear of failing. It's that something's not going to work out and that you're going to feel like a failure. When you can recognize that you are not a failure, that you tried something new, and hey, you know what? That's awesome. I tried something new. It didn't work out. That's okay. I'm going to keep trying it out. Believe me, you get used to the feeling after a while. And then, that fear doesn't have to be a threat. Your life is not being threatened. Like, you're not going to die if you go hit live on Facebook Live and you get talking and somebody doesn't like what you say. Totally not going to die from that. You're really not. You just have to recognize what I say may not be for everybody, but it is for somebody. Matthew 6:27 reminds us that it says, which of you, by being anxious, can add a single hour to his span of life, right? You're not going to add any hours to your life by sitting and worrying and thinking and being afraid and not doing things. In fact, you're going to take hours from your life from the stress of it all. But you can look at fear as more of a call to action. You can look at it as a guide to an opportunity, because when you're afraid to do something, you just got to know that that's an opportunity for you that is going to be awesome. It's either going to be an opportunity to grow and learn from not doing well, or it's going to be an opportunity that moves you forward because you did well that time. But I'm going to tell you, you're just not going to get through life without failing. It is just not going to happen. You're going to fail. If you can just get used to that right now, that you're going to fail at some things in life and that that's okay, then you're going to be a much happier person and you're not going to be afraid to try new things. You just have to say, hey, I could fail. I might fail. That's okay with me because I won't fail the next time. Or maybe I will, and I'll get right back up. I think I shared with you one time that my favorite scripture verse was Micah 7:8. And my version of it is, do not rejoice over me, my enemy, for when I fall down, I will get back up. And when I sit in darkness, the Lord will be a light for me. I have had to keep that because there have been lots of times where I have been down. And the fight in me makes me get back up. And I want you guys to have that same fight. And it actually is like, fear is like a faith muscle. The more that you confront it, the more that you embrace it, the more that you don't let it rule over your life, the more that you are going to build your faith in yourself. You're going to build your faith in what the Bible says about you. You're going to build your faith in your abilities. You're going to build your faith in your identity of who God created you to be. So fear is not something that you have to run from. Fear is something that you want to embrace. Fear is something you want to recognize. Recognize that it's there, right? Don't deny that it exists. Just deny its right to rule over your life. Deuteronomy 31:8 says, he will never leave you nor forsake you. Do not be afraid. Do not be discouraged. So no matter what happens in your life, God is always going to be there. He's always going to be holding your hand. He'll always pick you up when you're down. He's obsessed with you. He loves you so much. And when you step out, I mean, he's going to honor your commitment to going forward. And you're going to be able to learn these things. You're going to get sharpened. You're going to work that muscle of your own self-worth. That is like such the key thing in life. To really go out there and be successful is not necessarily to bring in all kinds of money or be the most popular person or whatever things you might think success is. Success is knowing who you are and being proud of who you are, being content with who you are, and not being afraid to go ahead and take those risks, and that, avoiding that feeling like a failure. It hurts for like a day or so when you do something that doesn't come out well, but it doesn't hurt so much the next time. You just got to keep going after it. So that is what I wanted to share with you today. Fear is a call to action. What is fear calling you to do? And the reason I'm wording it that way is because whatever you've been stuck in that fear somewhere, that's your calling. It is. You have to step out and try it. If God has laid it on your heart, then you go for it. I'm not talking about like, hey, you got to go jump out of a plane. Unless you want to, go for it. But I'm not talking about that kind of thing. I'm talking about that thing that God's put on your heart that you are hiding from. You are like turning your face the other way so you don't have to see it. You're just pretending. Like when I was in school and I would sit at my desk and we were doing reading, and I would hold my book up on my desk and hide behind it so that the teacher wouldn't see me and call on me. Don't do that. Don't do that with your fear, right? I hated reading in front of everybody. And so don't try to hide behind the book. You just keep going forward and embrace that fear and just go running for it, guys. All right. I hope that you have an amazing week this week. If you want to find me, I am on Instagram and Facebook at Coach Vicki Arsenault. And I hope that you'll pop over and say hi. All right. See you next time.